Hello, not hearing anything.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, please mute your phone. You're on. Just mute your phone, please.
All right, no problem.
Or your device. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We start to live now.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
You are on. Could you mute your device, please? Elsiana,
Yes.
mute your device, please. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, good afternoon. I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but if you're
Good
hearing me,
afternoon. We're hearing.
okay, good, thanks.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, we'll be starting shortly. I'm just awaiting Mrs. Harris. She will begin the meeting and then we'll turn you over to your new CXC supervisor. So just be patient with us a little. We are scheduled to begin at 2. I hope we can begin at 2. She's just on the outside finalizing something. So she'll be with you in a little while, okay?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Okay then, thanks. Students, one other question. Do we have any grade 9 students? Any grade 9?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. Grade 10? Any grade 10?
Yes, miss.
Okay, very well, good. Any evening school? Evening school?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yes.
welcome. Welcome. Okay, good. All right, then, good. Thanks. That's one other thing I want you to do for me, for record's sake, to prove that we had this meeting. I'm gonna ask you just to type your name, your grade in the chat. So if you are grade 9, you'd write your name, full name, grade 9, full name, grade 10, 11, 12, 13, and evening school. So you put your full name and evening school. So we can have a record that we did have this meeting. Thank you very much. Please forgive me. How could I forget those persons on YouTube? If you are viewing on YouTube, please type your name in the chat as well. Thank you very much. When you log in, please turn off your mic. If you want to speak, just raise your hand and we'll acknowledge you, and then you'll be able to ask your question when the time becomes available for you to speak. If you're watching by YouTube, you can type your questions in the chat and somebody will tell us what's there and we will answer your questions.
Colleagues, students, good afternoon, everyone. Are you hearing me well?
Good afternoon, Miss.
Good
Yes.
afternoon.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Harris.
Good afternoon. We are about to begin. And I just want for us just to pause for a minute or two just to give God thanks. Let us pray. Lord, we just thank you for who you are, dear God. We ask you, dear God, to be with us, to guide our thoughts, our actions. And right now, because we may not be seeing all our students at any one time, and because they're here either linking on or to come, or they're right here in this meeting, Lord. We know prayer reaches, Lord. I just pray for every single child from Bridgeport High School who will be sitting exam, dear God. I just pray, dear God, that the very best will come out and they will do exceptionally well. I pray, dear God, for the support of their parents and friends. I pray, God, for the support of their families. And dear God, that whatever they do, whatever they're going to write on their paper, Lord, I just pray it will be that which is coming from you and that which they would have exerted through their efforts. I pray, God, for our new supervisor, a woman of worth and value, steadfastness. And I just pray, dear God, as we go through this period amidst the COVID-19, God, all our invigilators, our administrators, our support staff and teachers, dear God, we will do so, dear God, and we will continue to do what we're doing, dear God, continue to support our children. And so this exam period, dear God, will go through, dear God, with little or no hassle. Lord, we leave these and other mercies we ask, Lord. There are persons who have challenges. There are persons who have issues. Lord, work through it for them, Lord. These are other mercies we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Students all, and we have some teachers on as well as invigilators. Just want to say good afternoon to everyone. I just want to, at this time, just indicate to you that this meeting that we're having is extra special because for one, we're moving into a meeting that our exam period that we have never experienced before. We're moving into a period that we now have a new supervisor sanctioned by our school and by Overseas Exam Office, CXC. And there are many things that we're going to be going through step by step, the things that we're expecting of us all to abide by. I know as Bridgeport High School students, we normally do what we know to be done and done right. One of the things I know we have some issues with is the matter of coming to exam, and some of us coming a bit late, so we have to work on that. It's a multiple choice paper. We have a few hour and a half for the paper, and we need to do our very best. So we need to finish and we need to read over and we need to finish and ensure that we get maximum marks that we can. I'm going to, however, use this time just to officially introduce our CXC supervisor. She knows no one in terms of personal knowing, and if she does, she is neutral. She is Mrs. Hemmings, and she does not have any affiliation to Bridgeport High in the sense that she's going to give anybody any extra special. We are all on one level platform. She's about business. She's about service and service to mankind, service to self and service to this school because she has pledged her time and effort to work assiduously to build the brand here at Bridgeport High School. Ms. Hemmings, we want to warmly welcome you to our student body in a different fashion. So I know you will be walking through classes just to say hi, so some persons just meet you. But colleagues, students, you will hear from her. And I'm going to ask you just to give her a hand, and welcome her to Bridgeport High School and to the family of Bridgeport High School. Welcome, 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 Mrs. Hemmings. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Students, we also have in the meeting Mrs. Palmer. Mrs. Palmer is a senior vice principal, and she's the person in charge of examinations. Has to do with all issues you may have. If there are any challenge and the issues that we need to liaison with in terms of overseas exam, Ms. Palmer is the person who does and to see it through to the running examinations. The issues with overseas, She's our exam coordinator. She is.
Good evening.
She's our
Good
coordinator, and
afternoon.
she will be on that. Okay, Miss, welcome, Clark. There are quite a bit that we need to say to our students, and we're happy that even although we have the restrictions with COVID, of course, so technology that I know many of us as students is here for us to utilize, and we are utilizing technology now in this program. So welcome again, one and all. We have some of our invigilators, and you will know them if you don't get full introduction. You will get the intro Monday. So again, students, again, I want to wish you the very best, and I want to implore and encourage you to work extremely and ensure that you get your grade 1s. Work for grade, then the other grade. If something happen, it should be a grade 2, nothing else. On to sixth form application that will be posted by this Friday. It must have 5 CXC, and preferably they must have English, and it's preferably math and English, and 3 other subjects. And the subject should be aligned to the CAPE subjects that you wish to do. In addition, we're going to have the technical option for students who wish to do a skill area. And the skill area, we're starting out with nail technology as well as BPO. So it's 2 options. So we will be expanding the grade 12 program to include the technical option as well as the traditional option for grade 12. So forms will be out. You don't have to pay to get the form. We will post them on our Instagram page as well as the Facebook page. You can download it and you can fill it out and bring in the form along with the necessary documents asked for. All must be in. And please note not that I'm asking persons not to try hard enough, but if there are persons who have 3 or 4 CXCs, you will still be able to get into grade 12 technical. Or if you have your 5 CXC and more, you get into grade 12 traditional option. And we can move from there from the 12 technical into the grade, the 6th form program formally, and we can do a myriad of things in terms of educating ourselves, in terms of getting an additional technical subject, being certified by heart, and also do the additional CSEC subjects to qualify us to CAPE subjects for the following year. So here we have it, and we will explain all of this on the form. So we're taking a little bit more time to get the forms ready, but it will be out by Friday. So I want to wish you well. And please note, for those moving on straight to tertiary institution or moving on to work, we want to wish you well all the same. But our first modus operandi now is to do our exams and to do it well. And we're now going to leave the floor open for Ms. Hemmings and Mrs. Palmer to bring you through this meeting. All the best.
1 minute, Miss. Just before you go, Miss Beckford is also in the meeting.
Oh, Miss Beckford.
Humanities.
Oh, I thought it was Miss Beckford, coordinator for evening school, and evening school students.
Yeah, we have a few
invited to this meeting because the same instructions that were given to our day students, the same will follow for evening school. And Mrs. Sparman or exam supervisor will also go through the total protocols that we have to utilize coming on campus. So Ms. Beckford is here, our teacher rep, and she also teaches geo and logistics. She's also here. Welcome, Ms. Beckford, to the meeting, and to the other teachers who will come later. All right. So I pass now to our exam supervisor, Mrs. Hemmings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon
Mrs. Simmons.
to Mrs. Harris, principal of Bridgeport High, then to senior vice principal, Mrs. Palmer, to the exam coordinator, Mrs. Clark, to the teacher rep, and to all the teachers, and to especially the candidates that are in this room. a very warm and special good afternoon. And wherever you are, I need you to break a beautiful smile.
You can't see it, but you will hear it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I am sure that makes you feel a little relaxed, right? And what we're going to be doing today, it's not anything for you to feel nervous about, students. It's just for you to be on the right track. It's always good to be on the right track. So, first off, for me to begin, I know that as students, you are a bit, I don't know if you feel a little rushed about this whole exam process. By the way, let me say again, I am Anika Hemmings, and you have been introduced as my post, the supervisor for this DXE season. And indeed, it is my utmost pleasure to be in this position. And I am humbled. That is most important to me. Okay. Also, I must commend your school, Bridgeport High, because when I went to the meeting with the Overseas Examination Center, some of the things that they were saying and some of the material that they have sent to me, Bridgeport has provided it before. So I am way in advance, and I just want to commend Mrs. Palmer, the good work that she's doing, and also Mrs. Harris, of course, along with her and the rest of the team. Thumbs up, good job. All right, so now to the rest of the meeting. So I was saying, I know for you students, or I can say candidates, because we have the evening school persons that are here that are a little more mature than those that are in school. So I know you might be feeling a little rushed because of this exam timing. Nobody planned for this coronavirus that has taken over, and everything just stopped suddenly, right? And I'm sure when it happened and we were locked down and everything, you were thinking, you know, you would not be sitting any exams, but due to government policies and all of that, the exam is here. So the exam is here. What are you going to do? You have to put out your best and you have to give it all that you have. I am sure from that official announcement was made that you're going to be sitting the exam, that you all started to even get more into your past papers and all of that, you know, to get yourselves all lined up for this examination. I don't know if there is any candidate here that says they enjoy doing exams. I don't know. I don't know of any students that enjoy doing exams because it can really take a toll on you. But it's just a part of life. And life is interesting because there are different turns, ups and downs, and we all have to try to adjust. And as you get more mature and get older, developing more, you will become a part of all of the ins and outs, the turns, the bends, and everything of life. You know, some things just not predictable. Some things you know that it's gonna happen, and you have to prepare yourself for it. But if it just comes up suddenly, you still have to improvise. You still have to make a way possible, okay? Because you can't just throw up our hands and give up like that. So all of us that are here, we are grateful to God that we did not contract corona, and God is good that you're going to be able to sit your exams. And your exams is a stepping stone to another level in life. So you have to make sure that you are ready. And when we talk about ready, we're talking about now Monday officially, the exam beginning, and you having your frame of mind all set to pursue this next season in your life, okay? So now we want you to take a very good approach, candidates. to these exam atmosphere that is coming up, okay? Some of you, well, most all of you, you are aware of what exam conditions are, okay? But especially for this type of exam, which is a global type of examination, and we know that we are still going to be rearing for Bridgeport High School, one of the best high schools, and we don't want anything to happen at Bridgeport High School that is not pleasant. We want everything to continue the same for the school. So everybody is gonna put in their full participation. The next thing before we go into all the rules for the exam conditions is that as an individual, each of you, I don't know what kind of environment you have at home. I don't know your setting, but if there's nobody at all that is speaking to you to motivate you or anything like that, school has been out for a while, so you have not been getting it from your teacher maybe a while, you know, maybe she has been it, but it has been a while. You maybe feel a little, you know, lethargic about the whole idea of everything. But I'm going to let you know that whatever your results were before these exams, you're not going to pay any attention to that now. You're not going to let it demotivate you. You are going to tell yourself that there's greatness inside of you, and you are going to do your best in these exams, okay? You are going to put your best foot forward. So I don't know whatever is your first exam or what are the exams, your timetable like next week for each person. I just have a general overview of it. But for each individual, you know what comes first, what comes second, whatever. You are going to settle down and you are going to focus for the next few weeks that are there. And you are going to pull out what is the best inside of you. Okay, so you have to go cut out all of the staying on the social media, profiling and all these things. You have to go just rest them because you're focusing on your next level in life. Okay, so now, even though you might have your mommy and your grandmother that pray hard for you and the church pray hard for you, you still need to look over your past papers. You still need to look over your notes. Okay, so please, I implore you, you have it inside of you, so just do it. Okay, so all of us, all of the candidates, you're just gonna say, we're gonna do this. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna get to all of the ins and outs now of the exam atmosphere. All right, so we're gonna start with your time. Remember now, there are 2 times for the exams. We have the morning exams, which begin at, and we have the afternoon exams, which begin at 1. Okay, so for each exam time that is assigned, we're gonna allow you 15 minutes before the time to get seated in the exam room. Now, I said it is 15 minutes before, so 8:45, you're gonna make sure, if even a little before the 8:45, you are there, positioning yourself to get inside of the exam room. Candidates, we don't want you to come at 9. Most of you will be on the compound, most of you because school's not in session, and you'll be coming straight from home, okay? So please, we would like for the exams to start on time. We do not want to start late. We'd like for the invigilator to say, it's now 9 o'clock, begin. So if we're gonna do that at 9, you need to make sure that you be there on time. If you have to tie out the cow, whatever you have to do at home, if your parents insist that you have to do this chore before you leave early in the morning, you wake up extra early and get it done because we don't want you to be late. all right? And we want you to cooperate with the invigilators, and they're gonna be in position long before you get there. So we'd like you to be positioning yourselves 8:45, and if it's an afternoon exam, 1:45. And once you get now into the examination room, we would like you to hurry and get seated, okay? Remember, first thing I should say to you, we're gonna have a safe area where you can put all your personal belongings, okay? And remember, for exam conditions, you will not be allowed to have your cell phones with you. We are gonna ask that you turn them off. Turn them off, don't put them on silent. Turn them off and put them away properly in your personal area. And you take along with you, of course, your stationery that you need to do your exams. You're not going to have any paper at all with you. Any paper that you need, it will be provided by the invigilator. So only just your pencil. Remember now, it's multiple choice. Most of the exams are going to be multiple choice. So you need to have that pencil ready, your HB pencil, type pencil, and not a pen. You cannot use a pen to shade in. It has to be a pencil. And also, remember now, don't just carry one source of pencil, so you know, you have to go carry one. Suppose the point break. I type pencil, you have to make sure you carry enough so that if that happens, you have a next one ready for you to keep going, okay? So make sure that you have all of that in place. So remember now, no cell phones, and we ask you to turn them off. Okay, when you get into the room, the invigilator is going to, before you get into the room, I should say your identification is important, okay? We're not gonna let you in the room if we cannot identify that you are John Doe. And how you gonna make us know? You're gonna make sure you have your proper form of identification. So listen up now, we don't want no pictures notarized by JP to say that is your ID. That's just not gonna happen. Okay, you need to make sure you have either your passport, your valid passport, your school ID, or driver's license, valid driver's license, or your valid electoral ID. Okay, those are the identification, and they must be valid, that we are going to be using to identify you. Now, remember, you need to have on your mask, but the invigilator is going to ask you to remove the mask briefly so that he or she can make a proper identification of you. All right, so that is necessary before you enter the examination room. Remember now, I know of people that are traveling overseas, and when they reach the airport, they don't remember their passport and them have to U-turn and miss the flight. So if you end up at that examination door and you do not have your ID, you are not going to sit the exam. We're not going to let you in. And don't bother think anybody going to for you and beg for you. You need to come with your identification. It is a must. Okay? So please, if you need to write it down, if you're a person, when you write, it registers more in your brain. Write it down so that you remember that you have to, when you leave in your house in the morning, say, do I have my ID? Make sure you're seeing it. Don't take it for granted that it's in the bag. And when you reach the door, the invigilator want to see, miss, you know, I think I put it in the bag. No, it's not going to work. Okay, so make sure that is first and foremost. Okay. The next thing is, and then of course we spoke about the time, that it is very important that you are on time. Now, where the timing, I'm just sticking a pin there before we go further in the examination room. With the time, if let's say you just, you know, sometimes things just throw at you and it's unexpected. But let's say that morning, you're just running so late. If you are up to 50 minutes late for the examination, we will allow you to sit, okay? So up to 50 minutes late. So anywhere between the 9 going right down to 9:50. But if you're 1 minute, 9:51 at the door, we are not going to let you in to do the exam, okay? 1 minute over 9:50 is way too out of the time. That's just gonna be so unfortunate for you. And we're sorry about that, but we have to stick to the policies given by the Overseas Examination Office. And we don't know when they're coming to see what we are doing. And we have to make sure that we are on par with their policies, okay? So now at 9:50 would be the latest time. And that's just an one-off situation if you're running late, okay? All right. So we establish here now that you must remember your ID. You must be on time, okay? And we establish your stationery that you must have for your examination, okay? Now the next thing, your dress code, remember, it needs to be appropriate, all right? I know that school is not in session and whatever it was that Mrs. Harris has laid out, that still stands. School is not in process, yeah, but still, please don't let it be anything that is not appropriate. Just make sure you're groomed appropriately to come and sit the exam, all right? So that is also important. Now, when you get on the inside now of the examination room, the invigilator is expected to assist you with your seating, because remember now, the candidate number that is on your timetable, it's gonna be also on the desk that you're assigned to sit. We do not want any candidate to remove the numbers that are placed on the desk. We do not want you to remove those numbers and switching them. If you do that, you're gonna be penalized, okay? You will be penalized. So please, whatever is the candidate number on the desk, leave it there. That's where you're assigned to sit. We don't want anybody switching up anything because you want to sit beside your friends and whatever and stuff. That's just not gonna work, okay? The next thing is also, remember when you are in exam conditions, there's no talking, no talking. So if you were talking everlastingly outside, when you reach the door, everything cease, everything stop. Whatever you have to tell anybody, wait until you finish the exam. You will have more than enough time after the exam to say what you want to say to that person, okay? Because we don't want anybody to be exchanging any information in the exam room that's illegal for the exam condition, okay? So please, no talking once you get into the examination room. Now, there are persons that love the idea of using the restroom when they're doing an exam. I don't know if we have such candidates here, but it's not gonna look good if you choose to be using the restroom more than one time. We would wish that you could just have some self-control of somewhat and just sit out the exam without having to go to the restroom. However, we know that sometimes, you know, something is happening. Yeah, so you have an emergency or something, you just can't hold it. We will have somebody who will assist you to the restroom, okay? But we don't want anybody at all to be going to the restroom very frequently. It's not gonna be looking good on your part. And you don't want somebody to be suspecting you when you know that you're not in anything in that light. Okay, so please try and maintain some type of control so that you can just sit. It's just, most of the exam is an hour and a half. Just sit it out, and you know, so that you don't have to do anything as such. All right, please. Okay, so I'm just going down my list and making sure, and I want you also to make a note if there is a question that you have. When I'm finished, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask your questions, okay? So I'm going down my list and making sure I'm covering the different areas. Okay, right, so let's see now, right. Okay, I have a demo to do for you where the mask is concerned. Where the mask is concerned, we have taken into consideration that to have on the mask during the exam, the time that it is. I know there are some of the exams that are quite lengthy, but we're considered, but we would like you still to have on your mask, because everybody needs to have on his or her mask. The invigilator is going to be having on his or her mask as well. But for instructions and all of that, the person is going to relieve themselves of the mask a little to give you your instruction, and they will put it back on. However, the consideration that we have with the mask is that it might just be a deterrent for your oxygen flow. So look at this demo that I'm going to give to you, which is acceptable for you in the exam room. Okay. All right. So this is us having on the mask. Okay. If you put it on like this, where you drop it down a little from your nostril, that is acceptable, but you're not going to do it like that for the entire time. Just for a brief moment, every now and again, you know, you just pull it down like this. And then you pull it back up. Okay, but don't bother let it distract you from doing the exam in the timing that you are supposed to, you know, right? You just know how to do it. Just ease it down a little under the nostril so you have, you know, the air properly, and then you just lift it back over your nostril. So you just do it periodically while you're doing the exam, okay? There is something that I wanted to backtrack with the 50 minutes being late. Okay, so if you come in late and you meet this grace period, please take note, you're not going to be given extra time to do the examination. You will not be given extra time to do the examination. You're still expected to complete the examination in the 1.5 hours, just like those persons who began at 9. All right. So take note of that. If you reach late, you're going to still have to put in some more speed into doing what you're doing. The next thing is we have some very fast persons more than others, especially when it's multiple choice. Them feel say as them sit down so, and them shade and them shade and them shade and them shade. In 30 minutes, them put up them hand, finish, and them ready to leave the exam room because them do everything and them look over and them just ready to go. Okay, listen up now. You're not going to be inconsiderate of the other persons that want to take their time, take their full 1.5 hours to do their exams. And you're not going to, by that I mean, you cannot be disruptive of the other persons that are doing their exams. All right, so we're going to ask you that you remain seated. Remain seated. And you're going to wait. We're not going to, the invigilator is not going to let you out of the room until it is about 30 minutes remaining for exam timing, right? So if you're reaching and you shade fast, and you finish 45 minutes, yeah, and up, finish. Please just remain where you are. The invigilator will tell you when you are allowed to leave the room. Please, candidates, we're going to ask you, do not be inconsiderate of the other persons who would like to take their time and finish in their 1.5 hours. Okay? So if you are one of those type of persons, this is set out for you. Please, 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 please. All right, I need to make mention next. I don't know if for the evening school candidates, if there's anybody in that grouping that is a part of the security force. I don't know if we have anyone as such, but when I was at the meeting with the Overseas Examination Center, the ruling was that if you are such an individual and you carry a licensed firearm, you need to make sure that you leave it at the nearest police station. You are not allowed to take it with you and ask the principal or anybody in the office to keep it for you in any place at all. It's not going to be allowed. You need to make sure that you leave that firearm at the nearest police station. And that is if we have anybody in the grouping from the evening school that is from the security force. Okay? So please, whoever that is, if you are in the grouping, take note. Take it to the nearest police station. We're not going to allow you on the premises with that licensed firearm. Okay. Okay, so I think I have covered most of what it is that I needed to say to you today. And also in my final, before I allow you to ask questions, or if there is anything else that Mrs. Palmer would like to add, I also want you to bear in mind, candidates, those of you that are the students from the day school, you need to remember now, COVID-19 is up and about. You need to remember outside of the exam conditions now, you need to remember that social distancing is important, okay? And you need to remember to keep wearing your mask, and the school compound well facilitated with wash areas, right? For you to wash your hands. So we don't want anybody to be malpracticing and then anything happens, okay? Because it's gonna be a time when it's gonna be a grouping of somewhat, okay? So we want everybody to keep their heads on their bodies and focused, right? We see what has happened with Alorica, and you know, they are a group of young people, and I'm sure if they were practicing the social distancing and all that was necessary, you know, it could have been avoided. So please, Bridgeport High students, please make sure you practice the social distancing among your friends. Keep washing off your hands. Don't put your face, okay, and in your eyes, all right? And keep wearing the mask. It is important, all right? So we don't want you getting sick throughout the exam period. And also, if for any reason you come and you have a temperature and it's not checking, the temperature remains high, don't bother think we're going to tell you, oh, go home, we're not going to do the exam. We have an isolated area for you to sit and to do your exam, all right? So don't, that if that is the situation with you, then you're going to be exempting from doing the exam because you're going to get a big fat 0, right? So if that is so, though, Bridgeport is well able to still facilitate you and we will put you in an isolated area for you to do your exam. So that's going to be a good thing for you. All right. All right. So those are the things that I wanted to say to you. Mrs. Palmer, would you like to add anything else? Mrs. Clark?
Yes, yes. Simmons. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Mrs. Palmer. Yes, you're there.
I saw Mrs. Roberts' Clark hand up.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Your
Okay.
hand is up, Mrs. Roberts' Clark?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Mrs. Clark.
All right. Good evening, everyone, parents and all. The timetable is very, very crucial because it has their candidate number, and sometimes some of them might not remember, and to avoid them moving about trying to get their number from another source, it's best if they all have their timetables, and they could perhaps make a copy and leave it at home, because based on experience, students need to have a second copy of their timetable. So it's very important, students, that you come with your timetable, because it has a subject, it has a time, and it will help you. It has a number that you're going to search for when you get to the examination room. Also, your tools, your tools, apart from your HB pencil, whatever other tools that you are going to need. For mathematics, you might need, you call this the semicircle thing. You might need a protractor. Right. So I'm not sure what the exam paper will say, but it's best if you have it, your protractor for maths, or whatever tools you think you should have. And well, the calculator is out because it's a multiple choice exam. But whatever tools you need, perhaps you need a 1 foot ruler or a short ruler, just take it with you just in case you will need it. Okay, so the instructions are on the instructions are on the exam paper, so the invigilators will guide you as to which tools are needed. Okay, Miss, so that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Clark, for those two reminders. The other thing that I just saw as well are persons who have clashes. You have two exams at the same time. Now, the ruling from the Overseas Examination Office is that if it's a CSEC subject and let me see what is the CAPE, right? Then what you do, you're going to do the CSEC subject first. And the invigilator will be aware of who those individuals are. They'll make provision for you. They'll take it into consideration. So as a candidate, you don't need to panic and feel, rushed or anything. You will get your designated times for each. So if you have exams clashing, the CSEC subject you're gonna do first, and then the CAPE one you will do after. The invigilator will give you, and remember now, to hit the exam room, you're not gonna be leaving, you're not gonna be interacting with anyone at all. So when you finish that first exam, the invigilator will give you like maybe a little 10 minutes break or so, and then you go into the next exam. If it's 2 CAPE exams, you are going to do whichever one you prefer to do first. Sometimes, like, some of these subjects, some of them really just take a lot out of you. So maybe you want to do that one first, and then the easier one you do afterwards. But the same procedure will follow. You don't leave the room. You're going to sit there, but you will still be given your allotted time for each exam. Okay? All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Hemmings. There is a question about uniform students. All students must wear their full uniform. All students are required to wear your full uniform. Secondly, if you did not collect your timetable has been here, and of course, we would want you to collect them before. The students who have not, the students with clashes, right? The students with clashes, we would prefer if you let us know before. So we want to double check with what we have to ensure that we take care of you so that nobody is left behind. So please, those with clashes, please let us know before, come to us before so we can make the arrangements for you. Those students who misplaced their IDs, if ID, remember, we put in place where you take a photograph to us, you take a passport size picture to us, and we will provide you with a temporary ID for the exam. Of course, you know your contribution for that is $500. So you need to come to us with that before the exam so we can get it done for you, so you will have it for the exam. Remember the protocol, you are to be in the exam room 15 minutes before the exam starts. However, remember when you get on campus, we have to do our COVID protocol where, you know, we have to do our temperature checks, and we have to do our temperature checks, sanitization, and so on. So remember, when you return on June 8th, we advise you that you should come at least half an hour before the exam. We want you to maintain that so we can deal with you at the gate so you can reach the exam room on time, because we must begin promptly at 9. Remember also, if you are late, there is no extra time for you. Remember, you are doing only one paper, so we want you to maximize on all the time that you can get. So please don't be late. Make sure you're here very early so we can do the COVID protocol. Don't forget your mask. If you don't have on your mask, you won't be able to enter the campus. And of course, we want you all to do the exams. So we want you to remember all those things. And as Miss said, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, ask the question, or you can type in the chat, and we see how best we can answer your questions or how fast we can answer your questions. Those
Mrs.
persons
Palmer.
who are on YouTube, send your questions too, and we'll be able to answer them. Yes, Miss.
Address the city and guilds, please.
I'm gonna allow you to do that. So you can
Okay.
just do that right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So for the city and guilds mathematics exam students, there will be no sitting. So we will have calculated grades so that you can get your certificate. So when we say calculated grades, we mean the accumulated grades that you would have had at Bridgeport High School. So all those city and guilds tests that you did prior to March, before we left, those scores are going to be calculated in order for you to be certified. A sitting for city and guilds exam. For NCTVET exam, there is going to be a sitting, and that is for cosmetology and electrical. We will have a multiple choice, and it will be an e-testing online exam for those students who are doing cosmetology and electrical. Okay, thank you.
I see a question here that says if they're to take their original timetable. Yes, take your. Yes, Nicardo, take your timetable originally, yes. Can we have braids in our hair? Or we should remove them? Mrs. Farmer?
Mrs. Hemmings, I'll answer that question. This is Mrs. Harris.
Okay, Mrs. Harris is going to answer that question.
Are you hearing me clear?
A little low.
Yes, Mrs. Harris, I can hear you.
All right, for the persons asking, I will, if you have braids, you can groom your hair nicely and come. So you don't have to take them out. All right, we understand that it is summer. You would have been in on your summer break, so we won't be penalizing or sending you home. So if you do have braids, put your hair in a bun, fix it up nice and appropriately, and come and do your exams. All right. Just also want to, Miss Emmy, just allow me just to remind the students, because at the time I spoke earlier in the meeting, there are some persons who possibly did not log on to the meeting at the time. I just want to repeat, for those persons who are having intentions of going to sixth form, please note this year we are starting with the expanded sixth form program, where not only having the traditional sixth form students, the traditional sixth form students are those who would normally have their 5 CXCs minimum with English language and preferably math and English, and you will get you to do your program. We will amend the sixth form program application to include the technical option, where persons, you may not have 5 CXCs, but you will have 3 or 4 this year that you will apply for grade 12 technical. You will be able to do a vocational area, not a vocational, a skill area, and it is either BPO or nail technology. We are starting with those 2 now, along with the additional CXCs that you may need to do to qualify you to move into CAPE. So students, I'm telling you, if it is that you're looking to move into sixth form program and you may have a challenge because of the normal getting into the traditional option, we're also having the technical option. So we're expanding the grade 12 program. All right. So just want to remind you about that. I'm not too sure if Mrs. Palmer went through with you in terms of the special reminders concerning the protocols here at Bridgeport High. I'm going to try and have this posted on Instagram, our protocols that we have, but just some reminders since I'm at this meeting. We are to wear a mask, everyone to wear a mask at all times. And I heard Ms. Hemmings going through with you for those persons, because it's difficult to keep on the mask for a 2-hour examination. But just to pull, loosen, and put back. So from time to time, you may do that so you can get breathe in and breathe out again. If you must remove your mask, if you must go to the bathroom because you may have some underlying illness, we'll ask that you're going to be accompanied by an invigilator. Nobody goes to the bathroom alone. You must go with an invigilator who will monitor and bring you back. So I'm hoping that we won't have for an 1.5 hour, 2-hour exam persons moving out too often, because one invigilator will go with one student. So, and persons cannot move out as if for a normal school. It's not normal. We have the 6-foot markers on. There may be some persons who may finish their examinations before the allotted time, and you may be staying for a second exam that begins at 1. If it is that you do so, I'm going to ask you, please be quiet. Use the concrete benches that we have under the tree and do some revision, because we have to bear in mind that the space at examination time needs to be a time for quiet reflection. All right, so those persons who must remain until a 1 o'clock exam, it's no time for idling, it's no time for just not doing nothing or chilling and not doing nothing, but time to use your time just to look through, revise, or just relax your brain so you're in full preparedness mode for your next exam. And we must keep the 6-foot social distancing while we're at school, while we're inside the classroom, and all classrooms have seated 16 chairs for students to sit in exams, because that's a maximum for the normal classes. We open up all-purpose room that holds 30. We are not utilizing the Binishel or the library that has a capacity of greater. But those the Binishel and library, we are not using those. We will be utilizing 6-1 blocks for all small exams. But once the exams become larger than the space over there and cannot and for the KPEB exams, we will be moving either KPEB or CSEC, and most CSEC to the classrooms. All right. In addition, we have students, we have the wash areas. We didn't usually have wash stands as much, but because of COVID-19, you're required to wash your hands. Please do so before the exams. And I'm going to ask students, please bring with you your little personal hand sanitizers. Please bring your hands and so you can have it on the deck, not to be moving to where a bag is to go in there, because I know the invigilator won't be permitting persons to go back and forth to bags and so on. And please don't bring your phones and let it ring in the exam, because your paper will be taken and the phones will be confiscated. All right, so we have the wash and stations, and we have 11 of them, including the 2 water troughs that we had, and they are strategically placed close to the classroom blocks. So the grade 7 blocks, grade 8 blocks, and grade 9 blocks, they are strategically placed. We're asking students to use them. All right. So those are basically things that I have to tell you at this point. And again, I just want to wish you well. I just want to wish you all the very best. Work hard, do well, and ensure that your very best will be good enough for your time. All right. So students, again, all the best. I'm going to just put you back on to Mrs. Hemming so she can do the wrap up. And as I say again, students, application form for 6-1 will be ready for this Friday. All right. And we're taking in an expanded number to include the technical options. So just in case you don't have 5 subjects, still applied nonetheless. We can do the technical option. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris. Thank you. And boy, some things are being reiterated and said over and over. Candidates, I hope you're taking note. Okay, Mrs. Clark, is your up?
Right, no, but I would like to address a question I saw.
Okay, I see Nadine Johnson from the evening school. Is your hand up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, please go ahead.
Going up. All right, so just to confirm, you did say no calculators, neither for maths nor accounts, right?
Okay, because it's multiple choice.
All right.
You're good now?
Okay.
All right, awesome. Okay, are there any other questions? No? Yes?
Miss
Yes,
Emin?
Miss, I have a question.
Okay, one moment with your question. Yes?
Miss, I'm in the evening school and I did not receive an ID, but I have the ID for the school I'm currently attending. Can that be used as identification?
Okay, for the school that you are going. Who takes one?
Mrs. Emmons?
Yes, Mrs. Harris. Okay, sure.
I'm putting a note in the chat. Those persons who are in the evening school, you're supposed to have an evening school ID. If it is that you don't have or you would have misplaced, the same thing goes. We have a temporary ID that we can do for you. It's you carry a passport size photograph, and we will do a temporary ID for you. The cost is $500. Otherwise, you can take your national ID or your passport. So those are the only IDs that we are utilizing. Either the ID issued at school, or your national ID, or your driver's license, or your passport.
I paid for the ID and I did not receive it at all.
All right, for those persons who would have paid, Miss McIntosh, I'm going to ask you, just check with Miss Beckford. She's not here at this time, but I'm going to take a name and just point out. If you could, I don't know, I would get to know. I don't want to take it on this forum, but it's Sabrina McIntosh, that's it?
Yes, Miss.
All right, so I will put it down. She should possibly have your contact. So if she has your ID, she could get in touch and let you know. Here?
Excuse me, Miss.
Yes.
Are you sure that we're not supposed to use any calculator in the accounts exam?
Multiple choice. It's multiple because it is multiple choice. Usually the calculator is used for paper 2. Usually calculator is used for paper 2. But multiple choice, no calculator unless it is changed for COVID, but I don't think so. But if you are not certain, we don't know if we can open any package any at all before the exams. So if it is changed and you open the package, you can take it out and use. But that's why we are asking students come to exam at least the latest 15 minutes too, because if this is a change, we will adhere to it. But that is a directive that we did not get from Overseas Exams Office. And the practice over the time was once multiple choice, no calculators. All right. So if there is a new directive and it's on the paper, we would have to tell you on the spot when the package is open. Our supervisor was not advised otherwise, so we can't tell you that. All right. So if you think that it may be a change or there is a sudden change, and you work with the ID and it is on the paper, we will, but it's not a norm. All right.
Okay, Miss.
Any other question? Miss Emmons will take them, otherwise I will pop in. I'm not actually leaving now.
Okay, Mrs. Harris.
Hello?
Yes, hello, Jareen.
I just want to correct the thing that was said about no calculators in the accounts, principles of accounts exam.
Yes.
I have a multiple choice paper in front of me, accounts multiple choice paper, and it says
oh Lord, all these days end up large. Of course,
she said there is use of calculator in accounts and account paper that she have in front of her.
Are you looking at a past paper?
Yes, Miss.
And that past paper have that instruction on it?
Yes, Miss. That the use of silent electronic calculators is allowed.
Okay. So Mrs. Harris says that you're going to walk with them just the same. And once we see that directive, then we will allow you to use it. Okay?
Okay.
Erin?
Yeah, here. Thank you.
Right. So just walk with it for all of you concerned about that. Walk with the calculator. And once that directive is given, it will allow you to sit with it in the exam. But if it is not given, we're not going to allow you to use it.
Okay.
All right, then. So don't let that deter anything else that you're doing. Just keep working.
Okay, Miss.
Any other questions?
Robert Clark.
Yes.
All right. I saw a question someone asked about the JSC exam certificate.
Okay, yes.
I'm going to ask the persons who are concerned about the certificate to call the school and ask Mrs. Roberts Clark, and then you will get the information, because I am the person who will have to make the request for the certificates from the Ministry of Education. So just call the school, ask Mrs. Roberts Clark. I'll leave directives so that you can get the certificates. So just call the school and ask Mrs. Roberts Clark. I will leave the directives for you, and then you will get the certificate.
Okay, great, wonderful. Is there any other concern by any candidate on this line? I hear silence. Remember, you have to unmute if you're going to speak. So,
No further questions, Miss.
okay, then. Thank you for that, DL3. Okay, all right. So, thank you all so much. Let me officially thank you all so much for coming on this network and being able to, you know, pay attention to matters that concern you, important matters That's very responsible of you. And you all should tap yourselves on your shoulders because you were at this meeting, and that's a good sign, okay? So please now, as Mrs. Harris says, work very hard, do your highest, and you will, of course, see the results. Mrs. Clark?
Okay, Miss?
You wanted to say something?
No, Miss,
Okay.
not really.
Okay. All right. Candidates, students, everyone, and please take note of all the things that we have said. Please remember them. They have been said by Mrs. Harris, Mrs. Farmer, myself. So please don't disappoint us now. All right. Just take note and adhere. Okay. Thank you so much for your participation, and thank you for attending this meeting. Please do enjoy the rest of your evening, and please, it's a time where you have to just focus, settle down, and adjust. I tell you, after these next few weeks, you're going to be bored, and you wish you had used the time properly because you're going to have an exam. So just use up the time, just lock in and just use up the time now. All right? And then now afterwards, you know, the rest of August is free for you. Okay? God bless you. Bye now.
Okay, students, just before you go, if you lost your timetable, we don't have another one to give you. So sorry about that. Shaniqua, you have your hand up? Shaniqua?
Shaniqua, yes.
No?
No, miss, that was a mistake.
All right, sweetie. Okay, ladies and gents, thanks very much for your participation. And we do appreciate the fact that you joined us. All right,
Thank you for having us, Miss.
Okay, you're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, and same to you.
Thank you.
Just a note. Students all, we're going to try to see if we can get this meeting on the YouTube, Bridgeport High School Television. So just in case some person did not get to log on, they can listen to it. Right? All the best. Okay. All the best.
Miss, we can leave now?
Yes, darling, you can go.
Okay, thank you, Miss. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, good.
Yes, Miss.
Hello, good evening, Mrs. Farmer, Mrs. Smith Barrett here.
Yes,
right.
Mrs. Barrett.
I have a quick question for the examiner. I just joined because I didn't have electricity.
Oh, I'm not sure if she's gone.
She exited already?
Mrs. Hemmings? It looks so. All right, we can talk to you off.
Yeah, and I guess I'll see her. Probably I'll see her before the exam.
I can give you the number if you can.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay.